Upgrades.
So overall, what did you think?
Dude, it was phenomenal, man. It was amazing. Like everything about that joint was, I mean, it was violent, it was brutal, it was the harshness of humanity as itself, greed. But it also has a lot of like good personal development. Like I'm sitting there rooting for people that are doing some undermining stuff. Like the dude with the snake on his neck. Like I was sitting there finding myself rooting for him.
Yeah, there were some moments where I was only rooting for him because I wanted him to be the one that got it in the end and didn't win. I wanted him to be the person that got so close and didn't make it.
Right.
But as the story developed, I knew the only way Guillaume was going to win is he had to be pushed over that edge, and the only way that was going to happen, what better way for it to happen than your quote unquote best friend or good friend from back in the day killing the person you basically got feelings for, you know?
Yeah.
And other than that, there really isn't much that would take you over the edge, you know, because in the end, he really didn't want the money. He just wanted to make sure Sang-woo didn't get it.
Right. Because it started with like, man, I got to pay off these debts. Oh, I got to make extra money. Oh, man, my mother needs money. Then it gets to a certain point where he's like, you know, he's in survival mode, trying to protect everybody. I think what messed him up, honestly, is like him thinking that his need to survive killed the old man. Like, I think that really hurt him, like emotionally, because the old man up until that point was really there for him. He was really helping him. Mm-hmm. He seemed like nice dude. He seemed scared. Man peed himself. You know what I'm saying? Like he gave him his jacket. He had the jacket of number one up until the last game. And I think and like you said in the first episode, we saw like how ruthless he could be. Well, not ruthless, like inconsiderate, like cutthroat. But it started to come out when like it was just him or the old man. Like he was like,
But I don't even think it was ruthless in terms of just being ruthless. I think it was more so desperation.
It was,
you know, because I think even if he lost that game and died, well, we know it wouldn't have moved the story forward. But even if he had lost that game and died, he would have at least accepted that versus just not completing it to begin with. And once the old man started playing him, he was like, well, he went into survival mode. He's like, I have an opportunity here. But I started having I didn't have any suspicions. I have to admit, first time watching it, I didn't have any suspicions of the old man until Guillaume walked off and they shot or they shot the old man, but it was never shown.
Right. They had showed every single. I was like, this is like when Glenn was they thought Glenn died in the dumpster underneath.
Right.
I was like, that seemed like a red herring. It seemed
exactly. So when he got shot, or when they fired the gun and they didn't show it, trying to be like all dramatic in a walk away sad kind of thing, I was like, the minute they didn't show that, I was like, oh, he ain't dead.
Right.
He's probably, and then when the VIPs were saying, well, where is the host? Why isn't he welcoming us? And I'm sitting there like, he's probably in the game. It's probably the old dude. That's when I had my suspicions, but nothing did me in more than Junho finding out that Eno was the front man. That I mean, the whole reason that dude was there was to find his brother. That's it.
Right.
You know. But as soon as he said, "Oh, he won in 2015 or whatever year," I started thinking his brother was the front man. But I was actually kind of hoping it wasn't the case. I really was hoping it wasn't the case. But the thing was, I really wanted them to explain why, after his brother won, why did he go back to be a front man, or as in the Hunger Games, a game maker? You done got all this money. I'm figuring he would just go on and live his life and be
Right.
like, all right, but he went back to do this stuff.
Yeah, I think that's where the story thread is going to go that route.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like you know, the raid. When you first see the raid, it's pretty straightforward, but then you find out there's a web of stuff going on, and I think that even to the fact it was weird. Like, do you think he really legitimately killed his brother, or do you think that his brother may have survived? Because it's weird to me that he was like willing to bring his brother in. His brother had already took his gun down, and he still shot his brother anyway. And then his brother conveniently fell off the rocks. We didn't see it, and then it's kind of like we also
It's almost
saw,
like the old man.
Right. We saw also that a lot of the footage, it looked like it went through. So I mean, it's just weird to me that they would build up such a big case for the brother to find all that evidence. Like a majority of the season,
Right.
building up
And
some
not
evidence
and nothing to show for it.
I don't buy that. I don't buy that.
No,
It reminds me of was it The Watchmen? Like Rorschach's Journal kind of thing.
Yep. And I think they left him open because I think they're going to bring his brother back. I think his brother survived and they're going to bring his brother back.
You know what? It could be. Maybe he needs to stay in because of his brother.
Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised if there is going to be a confrontation between Ino and Juno, the way there was a confrontation between Guion and Sangwoo.
Right. I can see that too.
Because they have the motivation now. You search for your brother. You find out your brother is the person hosting, or your brother is the person as the front man for these horrific games and brutalization. And not only do you find that out, but he shoots you, regardless of it being a shoulder wound, but he shoots you off the edge of a cliff. That's more than enough to cause a little, to cause some storyline beef, and to come to a clash.
Right. No, I completely agree.
I think his brother, I think Ino is going to be the downfall of Juno, the front man.
Yeah. I mean, shoot, man, the way the joint was designed, like the design of this, it feels like it's from a graphic novel. Like it doesn't seem like this came out of nowhere. Like the levels, the way they played it out.
I mean, even the details, like in the staircases they had to walk up where it was like a maze, and even adding in the underlying things that you wouldn't even think about. Like these cats were harvesting organs to make money on the side.
Right.
And they still took them out, for not keeping the purity of the game, as horrific and brutal as it is.
Right. And this is the other question I was going to ask you. Do you think that the people that are working there, were they previous winners?
I don't think so.
Because where are they pulling these people from? Why would they have this much? Like, are they getting paid?
They're probably getting paid.
But it's kind of like it's such a close knit thing that I'm like, where do you pull these people from? And we were right about the brother. I was like, that dude's holding that gun like he was law enforcement. I'm like, oh, okay, now it makes sense.
Yeah. It's a good question. I'm not really sure, but something whether it's fear or whether it's not. I mean, the thing about it is they harp on the ability to convince you to, well, not convince you, but put you in a position for you to convince yourself to go into the game.
Yep.
You sign away your rights, basically, your physical rights, and even after the majority, even after the old man was the deciding factor and stopped the game, all except 13 people came back. So out of 456 people, 441 died. Because and the thing was, I'm not surprised about them tracking Gi-un after he won, because when those other 13 people didn't come back, the front man told them, monitor them and keep me posted.
Yeah, he did say that.
So they were tracking him the whole time.
I think the thing I didn't think about, and I'm thinking about it now, is just because he won the money doesn't mean he wouldn't snitch and, tell somebody. They can't afford that, because then they can't continue the game.
Well, here's the thing. They can't afford that. But at the same time, they put themselves in a position in terms of who's going to believe you. Because if they sit there and somebody comes and says, hey, look, I just got all this money, from this horrific game, who's for them to think that you're not doing fraud or something? Right. And then they would just try to arrest you and take your means, the money that you won. Now, I don't think they would let that happen, because they don't want any ties coming back to them. So if that was to happen like what Gi-un did previously, they would have probably come in and got him out and everything else and been like, look, get your butt on that plane, go see your daughter, and stop all this crap. Right? They probably would have done that. But they didn't have to when he didn't have anything, because they would have just looked at him as being stupid, the cops, or crazy. So, which they did originally. But something tells me Gi-un and Sung-woo are going to end up getting back together, and they're going to work together to try to bring this place down.
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah. I think the only way they're going to do it is bring them to financial ruin. But how do you do that when it's so ingratiated? There's a lot of money backing this, to the point where they can easily tell you 456 players are going to go in, and every player is worth 100 million. That's 100 million.
That's
so they got 45.6 billion won to go away. That's about 32 million 300 something thousand US dollars. That's crazy.
So one thing the reason why I actually started this, I mean, I had been waiting to react to it for a whole long time, but the Emmys about a week and a half ago came up, and the main lead, that's Gi-un in this, he won Best Lead Actor. He was the first international lead actor to ever win an Emmy for a primetime show. And I was
for Squid Game.
Yeah. And I was like, why? Like, what is it about this show? And I get it. I really do get it. Like, he's got a multifaceted performance. And it's crazy because I'm sitting there just listening to the dub. It's not like I'm, watching it, sub. I can tell his expression. I can tell what's going on, what he's doing with his body and with his heart through the performance. And I don't know if you knew this, but the chick that not the chick that died, but the one that sacrificed herself for the chick that died, she won Best Guest Emmy for the show. She was only like 2 episodes, right?
I want to say two or three, something like that.
And so, I mean, the show is amazing, man.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really, really good.
So yeah,
because
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, the fact that she was able to portray so much in 2 episodes, and the way she even ended her role, the way her role ended, like, you bonded with this chick in about 2 episodes. You got to learn about how she is, why she's the way she is.
Yep.
And how what she wanted. She was basically like, I don't have anything to live for.
Yeah.
I don't have anything. So I might as well give it to someone who has a better shot. And by the time they pulled the trigger on her, you were just emotionally tied. And if that's not great acting, I don't know what is.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
And do you remember The Watchmen on HBO?
Yeah.
So there was one episode of The Watchmen where you find out who the old man, his backstory. Like in one episode, that might have been one of the best episodes. And that's kind of
yeah.
That was kind of what she did for her performance. And she wasn't even on the screen the whole entire time. That's the crazy thing.
No, but when she had something to say, it made an impact. Like when you first see her, you just think she is, the other side of the same coin of the girl that didn't make it in the end. But then as you start to hear them talk and you hear about why she's the way she is, and you get all that backstory, it's almost a shame that she goes out the way she did, because now they've given her all this back. It's like someone giving you a Luke Skywalker backstory, and in the end he gets killed with a lightsaber. Like you just
Yeah, I felt the same way about the girl that got knifed to the jugular. Like, low key, I ain't even really processed it. I think that's the other thing about watching this. Like, I wish I would have just watched one episode a day, like a weekly kind of thing, because each episode is it's emotional stuff that I don't even have time to process because I'm about to go to the next thing.
Right.
But
it's dope. But for what it was worth, it was great, and I'm glad I got to see you watch it. It's like Last of Us all over again. But I was glad to see you watch it, and I'm glad I got to watch it again because there were certain aspects. There's certain aspects I'm like, I've been waiting for you to see this, but then there's certain aspects of it that I forgot. That I'm sitting here like I'm watching it again for the first time because I couldn't remember certain things, like certain things with the old man and certain things with Song Woo, and I'm just like, and I have those same feelings all over again. Like, yo, Song Woo gotta go. You know what I mean? Old dude, 101 with the snake tattoo. I was like, yo, he gotta go. Like I'm sitting here like I hadn't seen it before, hoping he made it to the end so like Gyun can take him out or something, and it was just. And watching it again, it was like not every death was justified, but the characters they focus on that did die all had a justified death, except old girl. Old girl died because of that game and how they handled it, which was actually one of the only things I didn't really like about the game. Like, there were certain times they applied the rules of nonviolence and stuff, and then certain times where they let it happen. Like, you sat there and let them sit there in the dark, waiting for the next game. You left them with steak knives to defend or kill other people. But as soon as Gyun goes off and he wants to kill Song Woo for killing what's her name? Biak. They hit this dude and knock him down and hold him down. I'm like, wait, how are you not?
Because they were like, we need to make sure somebody plays in the last game. That's right. That's what it was about.
That's really what it was. But it was like they were, and then when, like you said, when they turned the lights off in the bridge game, I'm like, y'all can't do that. I understand the sneaky definition because it's like, okay, we want this to be justified. We want this to be an equal setting. So somebody that has an advantage means everybody else has a disadvantage.
Right. And at the end of the day, that's BS because the old man.
The old man was good regardless.
He was giving people insight. I mean, technically, the old man's like, he knows all the games. So whoever team he was on was going to be good anyway. I mean, just off of the insight he was getting, if they listened. And so I'm like, that's not fair. If they did that, if they had did the same thing to the old man that they did to that guy, then cool. But that's not what they did. And they knew the old man. They were like, oh, that's the host.
Yep. Yeah. But at the same time, it's kind of like what Stan Lee said one time, he's like, I get sick and tired of people asking me, well, who would win in a fight of Thor versus the Hulk, or Wolverine versus the Hulk, or Thor versus Iron Man, or Iron Man versus Captain America, who would win? And he was like, whoever would win if whoever wins the fight is whoever the writer chooses to win the fight. So when you're in this situation, it's like the host can do what he wants because he's technically the writer. He's like, I'm here for the fun. I'm here to play. But I also know he's also doing it because he knows he wouldn't have as much fun watching with the rest of those, uppity dudes. He wants to get in the mix, but he also knows he can get in the mix and not be worried about it.
It's crazy to me, man. Like, I look at all the characters, like, I empathize with them more. And then I'm looking at this old man like, how dare you, old man? Mm-hmm. How dare you, old man?
Mm-hmm. But the thing about it is, first time seeing it, even if you've got your suspicions about the old man, that he did the role so well, you were cheering for the old man.
Right.
And you really started cheering for the old man with Tug of War. Because after that, it was like, yo, I want the old man to go all the way.
Right.
Knowing, and the thing is, even though he didn't go all the way, he was still good.
Yeah.
He was fine. There was nothing was going to happen to that dude.
That's crazy, man.
The
joint was good, man. It's got a 10 for me.
It was really good.
I don't really have any negatives about it other than I gotta wait till the next season. I didn't
even this image you got here is awesome.
Oh yeah, no, that's perfect.
This is perfect. This really tells you the whole entire story.
Yeah, especially after you've watched it.
Yep. Old man is smiling. Everybody else is serious.
Like the cue is right on him, matter of fact.
Mm-hmm. He's one person away from the front man. And the brother is kind of revealing his face, but he's directly under his brother. It's great.
Yeah.
It's great. And of course, Byeok is standing right next to Song-woo.
Of course.
Ali is right above Song-woo, where is really where he should have stayed. His morals should have had him over Song-woo. But Song-woo just used his nicety, his kindness as a crutch to kill this dude.
Dude, this man, he was an evil character, bro. Like he was gaslighting people, trying to do every trick, grimy thing in the book, but he overestimated Homeboy because I was like, do you not understand this man? He's been in the dirt for a while. Like, you've been in the paint for a while, hurting financially, but he's been in the dirt for a while. He's seen actual death and trauma.
Yep.
And I just
your man, look, Song-woo is Lord Voldemort and Gyun is Harry Potter. You basically made that dude your enemy. You made him your rival. You made him the person that was going to take you out.
It's true. And it's crazy because at the end of the day, he really still never broke his character. He never broke his morals.
He almost did, but Byeok wouldn't let him.
Yeah.
He almost did. That final night. He was like, all right, look, it's gotta go. It was like when he saw that dude push him, it was like he was looking at someone else for the first time. And the thing about it is that Gyun was Song-woo's basically hype man. Hey, this the dude that went to SNU, man. He's, and I think the thing is, because he's, like you said, he's been in the dirt so long, so he can only hold on to the things that makes him happy. And what made him happy was his past. And seeing Song-woo was like, we grew up together. He's the pride of the town. Like, I'm friends with the pride of the town, But while he's been living in the past because he's been dealing with all this stuff, this dude has been dealing with the present and not holding on to his virtues and the things that would have humbled him in the past. And he got to be this cutthroat cat.
Yeah. Yeah, every time he talked about like his praising them, he was just trying to change the subject immediately. It's almost like he had a self-loathing complex about him. Like he, because of where he was at now, he just couldn't look at himself with any kind of praise from anybody. Even when Ali
Yeah,
was like saying thank you, he's like, no, don't say thank you to me. Call me this. Don't call
yeah,
me sir. Like,
yeah.
uh,
He Song Woo was I'm not Song Woo. Guillaume was Song Woo's mirror. Every time he was Song Woo's mirror, and he was Guillaume for Song Woo was what he wanted everybody to see him as. But even he knew he wasn't like that. So somebody constantly reminding you of what you could never be because of the things you've done in your life, it's annoying.
yeah,
He just didn't want no parts of that. He didn't want somebody constantly reminding him of how he failed, you know, as as a SNU student and as a man and all this stuff. And the thing is, he didn't tell the truth of everything. All of that stuff is coming out now.
right.
You know, his own mother thought he was in the States just changing the world. You know.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we could be talking about this joint for days.
We could. We
I
really
guess
could.
we're gonna post this up as a spoiler review.
Mhm.
You guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Some kind of way I'm gonna try to see if I can edit some of these so you guys can see our reactions to it. And that's Squid Game season 1. Until season 2 pops off, me and Ty will be back for that later.
Yeah, man.
Peace, everybody.
Peace.
Let me try to find an outro for you guys.
Yeah.
Peace.
Filing out the top of
I can see the skyline, 50 mile radius on my timeline.